Thank you for supporting the Oneness of Black Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Erica Pike. Season 2 will bring many amazing guests that will share their life's journey. We will start with Dr. Richey. Dr. Richey has reached many different lives all across a vast range of fields. He is well accomplished. Today, he will share with us his journey towards different aspects that he decided to tackle in his life.
Today's guest is a powerful example of both public influence and personal progression. Dr. Rashad Richey is a managing partner of the law office of Richey and Wilson, fairness firm, Emmy-nominated political analyst for CBS News Atlanta, host of the nationally acclaimed show Indisputable, multimedia broadcaster, professor, author, and one of the youngest inductees into the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. Dr. Rashad Richey, with millions of daily viewers and one of the fastest-growing news platforms in America, he dominates TV, radio, streaming, and digital media spaces. Yet beyond the accolades, the advanced degrees, the national interviews, and the executive leadership, there is a story.
Welcome to the Oneness of Black Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Erica Williams Pike, and I'm here today with the distinguished Dr. Richey. He is an amazing host today, and I can't wait to really dig deep into all of the amazing contributions that he has made to our society. Before we get started, just wanted to take a few minutes to share that this is Black History Month, and it's so fitting for us to right now be sitting with one of our African Americans who have made such an impactful mark on society. I know sometimes we always look towards celebrities and people who are well established in society. He is a celebrity in his own right, and I'll let him speak more about that. But just it's so fitting for us to be able to talk to someone who is able to, who has done so much in society and who is still doing remarkable things. And so right now I will introduce to you Dr. Richey, and he will just share a little bit about himself as we have our conversation. You get to learn a lot more about who he is and what he's has been contributing to society. Okay, so we'll start off. So Dr. Richey, such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us
Pleasure's
today.
mine. Thank you.
Of course, I was introduced to you through your electrician, your Rohan Pike.
That's right.
He, of course, got us all connected so that we could be able to have this conversation today. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
So, of course, like I said before, you are well established in the different aspects of your life. You have many accolades and have done so many different wonderful things. And so one of the things that that's really curious to me is what was your life like prior to you accomplishing so many awesome things? Like, what was it like for you starting as a child and, and where you are today?
Oh, you going deep.
Real deep. We want to hear it all.
I want to say thank you for providing intentional opportunity for Black people to be safe and to have opportunity to share, to connect. Sometimes we disregard the humanness of our humanity.
Yeah.
And we have to be intentional about creating the opportunities
Yes.
that you're creating. I was a foster child. Okay. And I became a foster child at around 10, 11 years old, which meant I knew enough to understand what was going on, but I was still too young to truly comprehend the impact it would have on my life. But what it did, as with all things, God is able to utilize anything to a positive. And many times when we go through trauma, because this becomes the why, and if you don't find your why, you will work every day of your life. When you find your why, you will never work again.
Right.
Because everything you do is aligned to that why. So in life, we either can become the expression of the thing we experienced, or we could become the person who would have saved us from the thing we experienced.
Right.
And so I decided to become the person who would have saved the 10-year-old me.
Right.
And that's where my advocacy comes from.
Wow, that's amazing. So, in your childhood, let's just talk about that for a few minutes. What kind of geared you towards education? Because you're so big on that. Like,
Yeah.
you have several degrees,
Yes.
and so of course, I have a doctorate degree too. So I know how it is to be able to obtain one of those,
Yes.
and it's hard work.
Yes.
And so for me, looking at your accomplishments in regards to, all of the degrees, and you could talk about those, what really propelled you to really pursue and keep going? Because I know you're still going.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So let me first say it's not about degrees.
Mhm.
It's about knowledge,
Exactly.
learning.
Mhm.
Learning is the goal of true scholarship, not degrees. I finished doctoral studies at Clark Atlanta University. My doctoral supervisor, Dr. Chike Okua, one of the most prolific scholars I've ever met in my life. And we remain good friends today. And he follows a tradition of Black uh, knowledge and education and wisdom and truth that connects learning
Mhm.
to the fundamental aspect of the journey of life. Okay.
Yeah.
So no matter what,
Mhm.
you should be learning something,
Yes.
even if it's not in a formal program. My biological mother, remarkable woman,
Mhm.
was uh, was very keen on education. She was a very educated woman herself and had broke many traditional boundaries in her life
Mhm.
to have that kind of education. And then when I went to the foster system, 11 years old until I was 18, I benefited from being adopted by school teachers
Wow.
who instilled in me that the great equalizer is education. And it can be skill, it can be a traditional higher education dynamic, but you got to learn something.
Yes.
That is how you equalize in society. And I realized that education not only is a great equalizer for yourself, but it becomes a great equalizer for others if you can learn how to take that education to advocate
Yes.
for other people. And so, even though I'm considered a multidisciplinary scholar because I have research degrees in various disciplines, it's only because those disciplines matter to me due to the advocacy on the other side. And two, I know that I'm not limited.
Right.
And I also know that you're not limited.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm not competition. I'm proof it can be done.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love the way you view that. That it's proof that it can be done. I love that because some people are propelled to pursue and to learn, to be lifelong learners, while others, like I know some of my friends and colleagues is like, oh no, I'm not going back.
Right.
So I really like the way how you look at it in the fact that it is learning. It is using your knowledge for good. How can I help someone else and how can I benefit society? So I really love that viewpoint of how you look at that. So let's talk a little bit about your first love or your first degree and your reasons for actually pursuing that.
So let me talk about it in a fuller context. I was one of those late bloomers. And so when I was 17, 18, trying to figure out life, I'm coming out of gang life. I've I've given my life to the Lord. I don't know exactly what that means at this time of my life because it is very murky and I don't have a lot of guides around me. But I knew that I did not want to repeat the cycle that I was in at that time. And so I pursued higher education. I had to go get a GED. I was too behind in high school. So I got a GED. And back then, uh, a GED was not as culturally accepted as it is today. Okay. So I took the GED test, scored very high on it. And back then, they offered you a scholarship. Nobody knew about the scholarship because they don't expect you to score that high. And so you don't hear about none of this until it happens, right?
Okay.
So I got a partial scholarship to college. And I was hit and miss because of the socioeconomic realities of being on your own. But I had a few credits, etc. And I've learned that I wasn't built for traditional anything. And so I bypassed a lot of the traditional elements of education just to learn more. But I ended up finishing. So I have a bachelor's, and I'm not going to name all my degrees, but I have a bachelor's in religion.
It's okay.
It's too
Go
much.
ahead. It's
It's
okay.
ridiculous.
I know it's a lot, but go
Right.
ahead.
So I have a bachelor's in arts and religious studies
Mhm.
from Beulah Heights University from their Atlanta campus. I also have an MBA. Okay. Those are very different degrees,
Mhm.
but they meet in the aspect of management, but ethical management. Okay, ethical management. Understanding religion. A religious studies degree is not necessarily a Bible degree. We had to learn comparative religion. Well, when you learn comparative religion, you're learning psychology. You're learning the thing that influences the social order of things.
Mhm.
And it got me interested in cognition.
Oh.
And so I have a master's in neurophysics. My PhD program in physics was my supervisor, none other than Dr. Willie Rockwood. He was the chairman of physics at Morgan State University at that time.
Mhm.
And this was a pilot program with Paris Graduate School. I had already finished my doctoral studies at Clark Atlanta University.
Mhm.
And so you see this tapestry of traditional on-campus education, progressive education, hybrid model education, distance learning education. The key is education. The key is learning. And that is true scholarship. And unfortunately, we have this level of American imperialism where we believe that if it's not an on-campus American institution, that somehow that an accredited institution in Southeast Asia or an accredited institution in France is not as credible as an institution in America, when ironically, these other institutions outrank a lot of American colleges. And how dare us? How dare we, coming from the legacy of an HBCU, how dare we other
Mhm.
countries in such a way that's derogatory to the educational system when they run circles around us
Yeah.
in mathematics, physics, and sometimes even the scholarship of legal studies.
Right. Thank you for supporting the Oneness of Black podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so that you can know when we are releasing the next podcast. Like, comment, and share. Remember, we all have a story and we all are stronger together.